The Seamless Experience, a presentation from Chris Fradin, the Senior Vice President of Forbes Travel Guide. Please welcome Chris with a round of applause.
Thank you.
Over to you, Chris.
Thank you. Before you go, Roman, just come back on for a moment. Can we get some applause for Roman, who's done an amazing job keeping everyone going. Thank you, Roman.
Thank you.
You've been amazing.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Chris Fradin, I'm from Forbes Travel Guide. I'm based out of London, and I just want to share a few short thoughts with you today for the next 10 minutes or so. To give you a little bit of background about Forbes Travel Guide, so we've been in business since 1958. There are about, as you see up here, a few numbers. About 1,200 properties have earned a star rating from Forbes Travel Guide. Of those properties, just over 300 have earned a Forbes Travel Guide 5-star rating. What does that mean? So we have about, and you heard Philippe yesterday on one of the panels, we have about 900 standards in total when you're looking at a hotel, a restaurant, and a spa. For the hotel on its own, it's actually just over 500 standards, and 75% of what it is that we're looking for is around service, and that's what we evaluate the properties on. And at the heart of everything that we do, it's all about how do you make your guest feel, okay? Now, in terms of top markets, you see here that London is leading the way with 21 Forbes Travel Guide 5-star properties, Macau in second with 17, and Paris third with 13. And you'll see on the right-hand side, Madrid, we started evaluating this great destination for the very first time only 4 years ago. We lost a couple of years due to the pandemic. 7 properties are already earning a star rating from us, 2 of which already have a Forbes Travel Guide 5-star that we announced this year for the first time. So everything that we've been hearing over the last couple of days is showing that there's real hope and there's a great opportunity in this fantastic destination. There will be 3 additional properties that we are evaluating this year. So there are 3 things I just want to talk to you about a little bit today. So golden nuggets, curated choice, and anticipatory service. So let's look at golden nuggets, and what do I mean by that? So by my reckoning, I did a little bit of mathematics this morning. I've been on board with Forbes Travel Guide now for 8 years, which is 2,777 days. I've taken around 300 flights. I've spent a lot of time away from my family. They still love me, I think. And I've spent about a number of nights at about 400 different hotels. So I've probably got quite good experience in terms of what does seamless travel look like, or what does it not look like. And there's a definition here would be seamless travel is identifying how many ways you can eliminate choice and never leave your guest wandering. Okay, so listening to your guest. Now, on the right-hand side here, you see this big golden nugget. Now, in my pocket here, I've actually got this tiny little golden nugget, okay? Now, this is significant because these nuggets are small, okay? Now, one of the most powerful things that I remember when I joined Forbes Travel Guide back in 2015, I attended some training, and one of our trainers started off his session by putting his hand into a bag of whatever it was, picked it out, had a handful of these nuggets, and threw them across the room, okay? And this is one of the ones that I picked up from that day, and it has stayed in my bag for nearly 8 years. And the significance of this is that these are the tiny little bits of information that the guest is going to give out to you when one's working in a property, in a hotel, in a luxury environment. And these are the things that you need to pick up, to catch, and to hold on to, okay? Every step, every interaction, every conversation has a golden nugget, and they are telling you something about them. So let's just read this out for a moment. A little scenario. I arrive at the hotel. The doorman says, "Welcome to the hotel. How was your journey, Mr. Fradin?" "Pretty bad. Flight was delayed. I've got a presentation in 45 minutes. "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that." I walk up to the front desk. "May I see your passport?" "How was your journey, Mr. Fradin?" "Pretty bad, actually. My flight was delayed. I've got a presentation." "I'm sorry to hear that." And then on the way to the room, the guest services agent, "Okay, on this floor we've got the spa. How was your journey, Mr. Fradin?" "Pretty bad, actually, and my flight was delayed." And I'm sorry to hear that. Now you can see that this could go on and on. Now, the golden nuggets of information that I've handed out to 3 different people have not been communicated. One of the panels we heard yesterday was that seamless piece of communication between the different members of the team. So let's just read how this should have gone. "Welcome to the hotel. How was your journey?" "Pretty bad. Presentation." At the front desk, May I see your passport? I understand that you're leaving shortly for an important presentation. Can I arrange transportation? That would be great. And then the third individual, guest services. On this floor, you'll find our business center. Allow me to share the WhatsApp for guest services in case you need anything. And you can see that that bit of information that I gave, I've had a poor flight, I'm running late, I'm stressed, and I've got a presentation, and that seamlessly went through that entire arrival approach. Okay? Very straightforward, not easy to deliver. Curated choice. So I said at the beginning, it's about eliminating choice, but actually choice is a very important thing. So, how many of you, and this is from an English exam, okay, so one of my daughters has recently sat an exam for school entrance, and we were doing some practicing, and she showed me two different forms. The one on the left-hand side, and you'll remember this from school, right, or from university, whatever. You've got free form on the left-hand side, you've got multiple choice on the right-hand side. And my daughter said to me, "Oh, Daddy, I hate those ones in the gray on the open question ones because I have to think about the answer." Okay? On the right-hand, she said, "I love these ones because you know what? They give me options, and at least I kind of know what the answer ought to be." So if you think about that for a moment, about this is how we can help the guest, we can curate some choices, and we can give them a little bit of helping hand in terms of their decision-making. So let's take that to a scenario. So instead of asking the guest, "Where would you like to go for dinner this evening?" That's an open-ended question, and that is opening up all sorts of challenges to delivering brilliant, seamless service. However, if you curate the choice, and if you lead the guest down a certain route, you're going to be able to provide brilliant options, curate the choices, and guide the guest down a certain pathway. So you can see here they were giving away different options. A local option walking, a 5-minute option in a taxi, a local option on the property, or considering the in-room dining because the burger is fantastic. And you can see the difference about asking an open-ended question versus curating and guiding the guest down a certain route. So I was recently watching a television program on the BBC, and it's called Amazing Hotels, Life Beyond the Lobby. And essentially what it is you've got a couple of people going around and really exploring what it's like to work behind the doors of a hotel. And they visited the Royal Mansour in Marrakesh. And what was super interesting about this program is that the general manager said, "Look, we have our guests coming. On average, they stay for about 4 days. They come and they're all excited and they've got ideas about what they want to do in Marrakesh, but they don't necessarily have an itinerary." Now, what he's actually done and what the team have learned through their experience, through talking with their guests, through picking up these golden nuggets, is they've actually curated a 3-day program without the guest even knowing. Okay, because they know that the guest comes, first day, they want to hang by the pool. I mean, look at the pool, beautiful, right? Very famous hotel. On day 2, they've had enough of the unwinding, and they want to get into it. They want to get into Marrakesh. They want to discover what Marrakesh has got to offer. Go to the markets, do some haggling, all the rest of it. And then by day 3, so they've done the unwinding, they've been to Marrakesh and the craziness that that's got to offer. And on day 3, they want to go out and they want to discover the natural surroundings. And guess what? The team is perfectly prepared for each of these different days. So the guest is essentially feeling like it was all of their idea. They feel like they're having the best time, and it's a completely seamless journey. Finally, on this little section, is the juice bar. For years, we would go into when traveling, I would go into a breakfast bar, and the hostess and the host would say, "Look at all these amazing juices we've got." Well, for me, that picture on the left is a little bit overwhelming. I don't need that kind of choice. I don't want that kind of choice, and that makes it really difficult to choose what it is that I actually want. On the right-hand side, we have 3 amazing juices. Which one would you like? And so this is a very simple, but it's a very powerful way of explaining about the golden nugget and about curating choice for your guest. My third point, anticipatory service. So we were talking about the standards at the beginning, and one of our classifications is what we call guest comfort and convenience. And one of the standards is about when clothing is left in the room, how should then the room attendants pick up, how should they move the items, what should they do? So the standards is very straightforward. If it's left in the room, it should be neatly folded or draped and left within guest view. Sounds easy, right? But the number of times you can go into a property and things just vanish, and then you get stressed. There was one time where I had my bag, and I'd left it by a window, and I came in, and the turndown had taken place. Little did I know that they'd pulled the curtain across, and my bag sat behind the curtain. I had absolutely no idea it was there. We spent probably half an hour searching the entire hotel for a bag that had been left behind a curtain because that small attention to detail by the room attendant had just not taken place. Look at the interpretation. So when the guest comes back to find their personal belongings, it should be respectfully handled, leave them near to where it was left, maybe hung or draped, but not inside the closets or the drawers. It should not be difficult to find, and we should never leave the guest wondering where their items are. So this is a little setup. I came back, this is at Raffles in Istanbul. Now, this is turned down. They've left all of my nice items. Even if you took a look on the top left-hand side, you'll see that everything is even height arranged, right? This is really thoughtful and really beautifully done. And you've got all these different things. But what you'll see there, which is most important, is this little handwritten note. Oops, sorry. Which says, "Dear Mr. Fradin, while I was unpacking your luggage, I realized that your toothpaste has nearly come to an end. Therefore, I've placed a new toothpaste for you. Your butler, Merv." I have told this story countless times over the last couple of years because what was the cost of this? Anticipatory service. People always think that you have to, and Philippe was my ambassador for Forbes Travel Guide, was saying yesterday about how he checks into places and there's flowers and there's champagne and there's this and there's that. Anticipatory service is not about that. Anticipatory service is understanding what is it that your guest needs right there and then. And Merv, my butler, noticed that my toothpaste was coming to an end. That cost what? $1? It cost maybe 5 minutes of writing the thoughtful card, but the impression it's left is this is a story that I will continue to tell for much time to come. So that's all I wanted to share. I think the three things are you need to give choice, but refined options, so curated choice, and give your guests fewer decisions to make. And anytime anyone throws a golden nugget, make sure that you're well looking after it. All right. Thank you very much.